I'm going to share my screen so that I can show you how to identify, how to do the exams. Okay, so I'm just going to share. I'm just going to go to Google. So here I am at Google. Shortcuts, just put Cambridge TKT. And I'm looking for the Cambridge website. So cambridgeenglish.org is the first that comes out. So I click on it, teaching knowledge test. And here is a page about the teaching knowledge test. I can read about it. I can read about the tests, the test format. If I click on some of these, okay, it gives me an idea, the test in details, module 1, module 2. There's a document, download a summary of the TKT modules or download the handbooks. I've posted the handbook in the classroom, so it's there for you guys. Okay, so if I want to talk about preparation, click on preparation and you have sample questions, and I downloaded module 1 for you. So there are samples here for you to practice with. Results. If we want information on results, we have the band descriptors, and I'm going to open the band descriptors. Now, TKT has 4 bands, band 1, band 2, band 3, and band 4. Band 4 is the highest. You're an excellent English language teacher if you score band 4. Excellent. If you score band 3, then it says the candidate generally demonstrates, that's module 1, comprehensive and accurate knowledge of areas on the TKT module 1 syllabus, language systems and background to language learning and teaching. He or she shows familiarity with most of the concepts, terminologies, practices, and processes tested in TKT module 1, which relate to describing language and language skills. That's what we did. Factors in the language learning process. We did background to learning language, and the range of methods, which we have done today, tasks and activities available to the English language teacher. The candidate is generally able to relate existing knowledge to both familiar and unfamiliar classroom situations, meaning they're going to test you with different classroom scenarios. That's band 3. I'm going to read band 4, which is the highest and the most excellent. If you score 2 or 1, that's poor. You might be happy that somebody does not know what band 1 or band 2 is. If you score band 1 or 2, it means you probably failed. You're not a good English language teacher. Band 4, the candidate demonstrates comprehensive and accurate knowledge of all areas of TKT Module 1 syllabus. They are a high scorer. Language systems, we learned about language systems and background to language learning and teaching. We did that. He or she shows familiarity with the full range of concepts, terminology, practices, and processes tested in TKT Module 1. And over yesterday and today, I've been teaching you terminologies, practices, concepts. On my slides, you see me highlighting words. Everything I highlight, you need to understand because you'll see it in the TKT, which relate to describing language and language skills, factors in the language learning process, and the range of methods, tasks, and activities available to the language teacher. The candidate is able to relate existing knowledge to both familiar and unfamiliar classroom situations. So that's module 1. There's also module 2 and 3, which we have not done yet. Okay, so maybe I need to download this and probably put it up in the Google Classroom for you guys so you can see the band descriptors. So I'm going back again. We're trying to see the TKT site. So let's go back. Let's go back to the TKT site. So we're on TKT. This is the site we get to through Google. It's cambridgeenglish.org. You can search for it directly on cambridgeenglish.org and look for teachers and then come here, or you can come through Google and just put Cambridge TKT. So on the main page, book a test, click here. Now, depending on your location, by country, if you're in Nigeria, you click on Nigeria. So what qualification do you want? In Nigeria, we have TKT. We don't have CELTA and iCELT and Delta One. We only have the TKT. So we click on it and we search for where we can take the exam. We can take it in Rivers State. Click on it. It's the British Council. Click on it. You get the details. You can phone these numbers. The email address, Ijoma, who is mentioned here, is no longer there. So just use the phone number and you can contact them if you're around Port Harcourt. If you're not around Port Harcourt, then you can choose Federal Capital Territory. Nigerian Tulip International Colleges does the TKT. In fact, they have exams in October. If you cannot take the exam, if you can't take the exam in October, you can take it next year. They do the exams like, I think, about 4 times in a year. I spoke with them because of most of you are in Abuja, and they told me that it's 25,000 naira per exam, per module. Each module has a certificate. So you can call them. Toby is the one in charge, and then the phone number is here. The information here is accurate. You can either email or phone Toby. I think you probably will find this number on WhatsApp. Okay, so if you want to take this exam in October, you need to contact whichever center you want to on time. And then remember that before you take a TKT exam, Cambridge recommends like 6 weeks study time. Okay, so you give yourself like 6 weeks in which you review your exams, you review whatever you have learned, your glossary, you know, and generally you will prepare for the exam. Okay, so that's basically what we need. Let's see if there's another question here. I live in Lagos. What should I do? Okay, what we used to do for centers that are outside, you have to contact maybe the British Council and see if there's an exam that is going to come up in Port Harcourt. What the Port Harcourt Center used to do for us was that if they're going to have an exam, they would allow us to register in Port Harcourt and do the exam somewhere else. That's what we used to do. So I don't know if Lagos will do that for you, but that's what I used to do. Okay. Otherwise, you register in Port Harcourt or Abuja and you travel there to take the exam. That's another way of going about it. So we're going to do a few questions based on what we've learned today. Are you ready? I'm just going to pick up a few questions here. Let's try question 7. This needs your glossary, but let's see. You probably would not need your glossary. Kip had always wanted to become, you see the word is highlighted. Now with the TKT exam, you must always read the questions. I always tell people, teach your students how to read the rubric or the exam question, the instruction carefully using intensive reading. So for questions 1 to 7, look at the sentences. So it tells us there are sentences. Read the questions about the grammar. So we know it's grammar in the sentences. And the 3 possible answers listed A, B, and C. Choose the correct answer. Mark the correct answer A, B, or C on your sheet, your answer sheet. Question 7. Kip had always wanted to become a nurse. However, when he did a training course, he realized that he wasn't enjoying it enough. Which of the 3 verbs is not an auxiliary? So we have had, did, and wasn't. Which of the 3 is not an auxiliary? So please put 7 and choose whether it's A, had, B, did, C, wasn't. So which of these is not an auxiliary verb? An auxiliary verb is a helping verb. There are some verbs that occur before a main verb. Those are auxiliary verbs. Can you think of a sentence where you have two verbs and one is helping, one comes before the main verb. For example, I have eaten. Okay, so that tells you that have or had is an auxiliary verb. I have eaten. So which of the three verbs is not an auxiliary? Is it A, had, B, did, C, wasn't? So put 7A, B, or C. 7A, which of the three verbs is not an auxiliary? 7A, had, 7B, did, 7C, wasn't. Which of the three is not an auxiliary? It is a main verb, not an auxiliary. Okay, so 7, I need to take note of this. I hope I remember. Let's go to the next page. I'm just going to pick up something. Now, this is function. For questions 8 to 13, match the underlined examples of could with their uses A to G. Mark the correct letter A to G on your answer sheet. There's one extra option which you do not need. So amongst this A to G, there's one you don't need. So we've done 7. Let's see if we can go to 14. No, sorry, I want to use this one. So let's go to 8. The expression is, that could be Judith on the phone. So what is the function? That could be Judith on the phone. That could be Judith. Could be. A, to express future possibility. B, could be to complain. C, that could be Judith on the phone, to give permission. D, to express present ability. That could be Judith on the phone. E, to express past ability. That could be Judith on the phone. F, to express present possibility. That could be Judith on the phone. G, to express future ability. So is it ability? Is it possibility? And if it is possibility, is it present or future? That could be Judith on the phone. A, to express future possibility. B, to complain. C, what's the function? To give permission. D, to express present ability. E, to express past ability. F, to express present possibility. G, to express future ability. So is it ability or possibility? That could be Judith on the phone. Select your answer. A, express future possibility. Well, you can read it. That could be Judith on the phone. Okay, let's go further. Let's go to question 24. Look at this. Which of the following contains a diphthong? Is it A, male, B, mad, C, more? Which of the following contains a diphthong? And I'm reading it for you. It's phonemic script. Male. A, male. B, mad. C, more. Which of the following contains a diphthong? Okay. I'm going on. So put 24, A, B, or C. Diphthong, male, mad, or more. A, male. B, mad. C, more. 24, A, B, or C. Let's continue. I'll just pick up one. Let's see. This is looking at the skills. Okay, so the question here is, match what readers do with the ways of reading listed A to H. Mark the correct letter A to H on your answer sheet. There's an extra option which you do not need. So I'm just going to take 34. What readers do? They quickly search the text to find particular information. Predicting, let's make it closer to you. They quickly searched the text to find particular information. Number 34, is it A, predicting? Are they predicting? B, scanning? Are they looking at? C, inferring attitude? D, deducing meaning from the text, from the context? E, intensive reading? F, identifying text organization? G, reading for main ideas? H, skimming? So, what is it? They quickly read the text to find particular information. And I've made it large enough so you can see. Are they predicting? A, B, scanning, C, inferring attitude, D, deducing, E, intensive reading, F, identifying text organization, that's structure, G, reading for main ideas, or are they skimming? All right. 34, A, B, C, D, E, or what? Let's go on. 48. I make notes about how native speakers use English in films and TV shows. What's the question? Look at the examples, the instruction. Look at the examples of what learners do and the three possible learning strategies. Yesterday, we learned about learning strategies. Learners have learning strategies. Choose the strategy which matches the example. Okay, so the example is 48. I make notes about how native speakers, that's English language native speakers, use English in films and TV shows. So, what is the strategy? Are they paying attention to the language use? That's A. B, are they organizing learning aids? B, or C, predicting content from the situation? Listen, I make notes about how native speakers use English in films and TV shows. A, paying attention to language use. B, organizing learning aids. C, predicting content from the situation. So, when a learner is making notes, what are they doing? Are they paying attention? Or are they organizing their learning aids? Are they predicting content in this situation? I make notes about how. So when I'm listening or watching a movie, I make notes about how native speakers use English in films and TV shows. Give me your answer, 48A, B, or C. All right, just a minute. I'm going to make this larger. This is the teaching approaches now. So mark the correct letter A, B, or C on your answer sheet. So you have to identify, match the learner's preference, their way of learning with the teaching approach that will suit them. So we have three teaching approaches here. A, teach, test. B, presentation, practice, and production. C, task-based learning. Now, in each of these, we see different types of learners and how they prefer to learn. So as a teacher, which is the best approach to use for student in number 56? Real beginners who prefer a structural approach and like to have a clear focus on new language. Should we do test, teach, test? Should we give presentation, practice, and production? Or do we give a task-based learning approach? Real beginners, these are beginners who prefer a structural approach and like to have a clear focus on new language. 56A, B, or C? A, test, teach, test. B, presentation, practice, and production. C, task-based learning. Again, 56, real beginners who prefer, match their style with the best approach for them. Real beginners who prefer a structural approach and like to have a clear focus on new language. Okay, finally, the last one. Let me go to this side. A summative test is used at A, the beginning of a course, B, the end of a course, C, the beginning and end of a course. Number 77. 77. A summative test is used at A, the beginning of the course, B, the end of the course, C, the beginning and end of the course. All right. Now, let's see your answers. I'm going to look at your answers now. So let's start from question 7. Question 7, let me just put up a material. What did we just learn? Approaches to teaching, okay. We're looking at answers now. Question 7, I'm just going to read what is question 7 quickly. Question 7 says, Kip had always wanted to become a nurse. However, when he did a training course, he realized that he wasn't enjoying it enough. Which of the verbs is not an auxiliary? Not an auxiliary. A, B, or C? A, had. B, did. C, wasn't. So let's check your answer. B, Mustafa said. Sorry, I shouldn't mention your name. Okay, I'm sorry about that. So 7B, somebody said 7A. All right, let's see. 7A or 7B? The correct answer is 7B. Did, to do, is a main verb. Doable. You can use that main verb and you can create new words. It's a root word, it's a main verb. And you don't say do walking, just like you could say had walked or is walking, you use auxiliary verbs besides main verbs, but do. B is the answer. Okay, 8F. Let's look at 8F. What is the question for number 8? That could be Judith on the phone. So 8F. Okay, I can't see, because I'm checking this, I can't see what your answers were, but I'm just going to give you the answer. Question 8F. Sorry. To express present possibility. That could be Judith on the phone. It's present. That could be, the phone rang. That could be Judith on the phone. So it's 8F. Let's see, what's the next one? I have to check. So let's see. You guys all got it. Most of you got it right. Well done. Well done. 24A. That's the answer that was chosen. 24A. Everybody chose A. Let's see what is in 24. Which of the following contains a diphthong? Male. A. Male. M-A-I-L. Correct. Well done, guys. The next one, question 34. B. Okay, 34B. Let me see if I can find the question. They quickly search the text to find particular information. B, scanning. Correct. Well done. Let's go. 48A. Wow, you guys must be doing well. 48. Let me assume you got it right. I haven't seen it yet. 48. I make notes about how native speakers, yes, A, paying attention to language use. All right. How native speakers in English use English in films and TV shows. Okay, what's next? 56B. Okay. Wow, you guys, 56B, you seem to be getting it all right. Let's see what it says. Real beginners who prefer a structural approach and like to have a clear focus on new language. The answer is PPP, presentation practice. B, presentation practice and production. The secret there is they prefer a structural approach. We usually use presentation practice and production for controlled practice, or a structural approach to teach grammar and things like that. Okay, the next question is 77B, and somebody chose A, 77. Let's just go there. 77. A summative test is used at the beginning of a course, at the end of a course, at the beginning and the end of a course. It's usually at the end of a course. It's summative, it's a final test. 77B. So the last question now. Oh, there was no last question. Let's see. That was the last question. Okay, well done, everybody. Thank you very much. Okay.